Today I wanted to talk about herbalism at home. So, when you think about using herbs within your own home and your own space, there are a few really simple things you can do. They're very simple herbs that you can have on hand. You can take them as a tea, as a tincture. You can use them as a poultice, and I'm going to explain a little bit about what that looks like as I go along. So, there are a couple of plants that you can have at home. I'm listing a few, but if you want to know a few more, you can always look up very simple herbs to use at home and then their uses and benefits, and then also their potential harm and hazards. So make sure that you're looking up both. So if you want something really simple, chamomile is a really fantastic plant to have within your at-home remedy chest. It's really great at calming the nervous system, helping to regulate the nervous system. It is really fantastic in aiding sleep and decreasing anxiety. It's also pretty helpful for digestion because it is considered a bitter herb. So you're going to have that really lovely support for digestion, which often is upset when you're stressed. So it's again beneficial in both ways, which is really what you're looking for with an herb. You want to have something that can have multiple properties, especially if you're just going to have a couple of really simple things within your home. Echinacea is a really great one to have around, especially if you have kids, if you have anyone in school, if you leave your home ever, because it's fantastic for boosting the immune system. So you're looking at you can use it as a tea. It is often included in like an immune boosting like tea blend, but you wouldn't necessarily drink it alone very often. It is pretty potent in flavor, but using it as a tincture is a really handy and effective and simple way of getting the same benefit. If you're not used to making tinctures, I would recommend just buying one. It's a few drops a day. It's a few drops when your immune system maybe feels a little bit low. It's not something you're going to be taking constantly for the most part. You can, but you don't have to. Usually you would do it if you feel a cold coming on. If someone in your household has some type of illness, then definitely go for it. If you know there's a certain season that you're often susceptible to feeling a little under the weather, that is definitely a time that you could take those drops. And follow the directions on the bottle. Always start on the low end of the dosage recommendation because it's going to give you the support you need, and then you can test how it feels in your body without creating an extreme reaction. Peppermint is another really fantastic plant to have around. It is so beneficial for digestion. It is quick and effective. It's helpful for soothing like a belly ache. It's also helpful for soothing like gasiness, bloating. It's also helpful for supporting headaches. So you can drink the tea for any digestive issues. You can also use it as a digestive stimulant before eating. So within the half hour before eating kind of window, you would drink a small cup of peppermint tea, and that'll help your digestive enzymes to start producing so that you're more able and quickly able to digest your food. If you're using it for a headache, you would typically use an oil, and you would put that oil along the crown of your head, behind your ears, and then the base of your skull. You can also put it down the sides of your neck, and you can put it on little pinpoint spots on your scalp if you're feeling like there's tension there. It's a really great way to relieve the tension and give yourself a little bit of space that way. Yarrow is another really wonderful plant to have around. It's really fantastic for wound healing. It can be used as a poultice. So if you're using it as a poultice, you can apply the plant directly to the wound. But instead of doing that, and a little bit more clean, is to create a yarrow tea and then soak a sterile cloth if possible, freshly boiled would be best, and apply that to the wound. You can also do the same thing with a Band-Aid. You could apply like a concentrated yarrow tea to the Band-Aid gauze or the little piece of cotton pad, whatever it is that you're doing with that. It's also really fantastic with peppermint and elderflower in a tea for colds. So you would do equal parts of all three and you would drink that as a tea throughout your cold. It's really wonderful at supporting your body in that way. Lemon balm is the last one I'm going to mention for this. It's such a wonderful herb. Even smelling it lifts the spirits, it takes some stress away, it lets your shoulders roll back and down. It's just a really lovely herb, and it's mood enhancing in all the best ways. It's really easy to drink as a tea, and I actually use it as an iced tea through the summer. It's really wonderful, and it is also supportive of stress relief. So the next thing to think about if you are using plants at home is how to harvest your own or grow your own. So if you're harvesting, wild harvesting, make sure you're selecting a location that is as close to toxin free as possible. You're going to want to look for a clean area, not close to a roadside, not where animals would frequent, particularly dogs, because they like to mark where they're walking. Trying to make sure that the plants are as healthy looking as possible. And then also making sure that you're not taking all of the plant. So what I mean by that is if you see a herb that you really, really do want to harvest, make sure that you are only taking less than half. You should never be taking all of it. You want to leave enough that animals or other people in the area would be able to access it as well, but also so that you could come back if you need more, or you could come back next year and you would still have access to it. It would depend on the plant, but it's important to leave some. So if you're going to be growing your own herbs, you can start from seeds. I prefer to use heritage seeds wherever possible. They haven't been modified. They're not GMO in any way. They're long-standing. They're often very potent, and that's what we're looking for with herbal medicine. We want to make sure that the potency is there. If you're buying them, if you can buy them again from an organic greenhouse, one that perhaps supports mostly local herbs, because there are plants that we use that come from other places, but we have a lot of plants anywhere we live, doesn't matter where in the world you live, that are there and are supportive of the health of the people that live there. So if you're purchasing plants, wherever possible, buy plants that are local or native to your area. When you're harvesting most herbs, and I'm not going to say all because we could go into specifics of each plant, it's best to harvest them if they're green and leafy and you're taking the things that are above the ground. You want to get the harvest before the sun has touched the leaves. So early in the morning, let the dew dry. We're going to get a little specific here. But don't let the sun have touched the plants. You want them to be as high in potency as possible. And that happens over the night. And that's when all of the energy or the vital essential oils come from the roots and fill the plant and the leaves and the aerial parts. If you're harvesting a root, it's better to do, again, kind of think of storage. The sun is going to change the way the plant is working. So pick something that's not in a swampy area, unless that's the type of plant you're harvesting, and make sure that you would be at full potency. So preferably the spring, before the plant has put up those aerial shoots. So a little tricky if you've never seen that area before. If possible, then just really early in the season. Otherwise, scope out the plant that you want to harvest next year and come back in the spring, mark the spot, know the spot, and dig from there. But if you're doing that again, don't take more than half. Drying and storing. So make sure that you're either using your plant immediately fresh or fully dry. And there are a lot of reasons for that, but I'm not going to go into them all. To know that your plant is fully dry, you're going to take a small sample of it and you're going to put it onto a plate or a lid of some kind, flat surface that's as clean as possible, and you're going to put a glass over top of that plant and you're going to leave that for about an hour. If after an hour there's moisture on the inside of the glass, it's not dry. If after an hour there's no moisture inside of the glass, it's dry, and you can store it as needed, preferably in glass wherever possible. Should be in a cool, dark place. When you're dealing with pests and diseases, if you're growing any plants yourself, it's really important to use organic methods to get rid of pests. So if you have aphids eating your plants, it's really helpful and beneficial to get some excess ladybugs and release them on your plants, because the ladybugs are going to eat the aphids and your problem will go away. If you're having problems like slugs or even ants, you can put diatomaceous earth onto your plants and onto the soil around your plants, and that diatomaceous earth will be a deterrent to those animals as well, those bugs, those creatures. So, a few common ailments and a couple of herbs to support them. So if you have a cold, elderberry, super helpful. I make an elderberry syrup out of it. It is elderberry tea concentrate, so very high concentration of elderberries to water. And then into that, I put an equal amount of honey. And that is my very simple cough and cold syrup. If you want to go more in depth, you could add the elderflower, the peppermint, and the yarrow that I spoke of earlier in equal parts added to that concentrate. Echinacea, another amazing support for colds, and ginger, and that is going to boost the immune system as well. For anxiety, having things like lavender, valerian root, and passion flower around is fantastic. You can also add lemon balm to that number. You can make a mix of all four of them into a tea. You could do the same in essential oils, not with all of them, but most, and have that in a diffuser. You could have that in an essential oil roller. It's really handy to have something around for you to smell if you're feeling stressed. If you are having sleepless nights, you can use and include chamomile, valerian, lemon balm, and tart cherry juice as a support for your sleeplessness. So drinking that as a tea or as a juice before you go to sleep, within about the 30-minute mark before going to bed, is going to support your nervous system in calming down, and it's going to give your body the support it needs to make the proper amounts of sleep hormones at the right time. If you have an upset tummy, peppermint, ginger, and fennel, those are your best friends. You can chew on fennel or you can make a fennel tea. You can eat peppermint if you prefer it that way, or you can again make a tea. You can also take a peppermint distillate, or how do I explain it? You can get a peppermint drop that is going to be very potent, and you would take 1 to 2 drops. For ginger, it is a really great anti-nauseant. So if you're feeling a little nauseous, that is a really supportive way to relieve yourself that way. And then for headache, you can use willow bark for headache relief. It is what was used before we had medications or over-the-counters. Really supportive. You do not need much, and it is a lot easier on your liver and your stomach lining than medication itself. You can also use peppermint oil, like I discussed earlier, and apply it to the scalp, to the circumference, the hairline. You can apply the same to the shoulders. You can go through the neck. You can put it anywhere that feels stressed. So if we think about sustainability, what if we all used plants? What if we all decided we needed to have a lot of plants? What does that look like, and how many of them are endangered? So if you go out and you wild harvest, like I said earlier, taking less than half. because animals depend on these plants too, and other people might depend on these plants as well. Wherever possible, if you can, grow your own. Grow them on your yard. Support your soil, create regeneration in your soil, and then grow your own plants, because then you know that you're not over harvesting something that nature actually needs. If you can't grow it, go wild harvest. Make sure you leave more than half behind. If you are planting your own, make sure you're rotating crops. It depends on what you're growing, but make sure that what you're doing isn't depleting the soil. Add eggshells back to the soil. Add your coffee grounds back to the soil. Powder up your organic banana peels and add them back to the soil. Do layer mulching and compost layering. Mulch all of your soil so you're not losing a ton of moisture when the soil gets warm. There are lots of really fantastic cultivation practices that you can add to your life and your gardening that is going to support you growing the healthiest herbs you can with the highest medicinal properties without taking more from the soil than it can give. When you're out foraging, think of the ecosystem you are within. Make sure that what you're taking is not going to disrupt the ecosystem that exists in that space. If you see that this is the only wild rose bush and you've not seen any others, don't take anything from it. You can't take something that's not there with at least a little bit of abundance. It's just establishing. Give it time. Go find it somewhere else. You don't have to take it from that one spot. And then sustainable sourcing. If you are buying herbs, look for an ethical seller. Look at their farming practices or who they're buying their herb from before packaging and processing it themselves. Shop locally wherever you can. And if you can't shop locally, support an organic, sustainable business. Try your best, because if you can stand in integrity and you can be ethical in what you're purchasing, you are voting for that to go forward. When you buy something that is not sustainably sourced, is not kind to the environment, you're saying, yes, I want more of that every single time. So when you're buying something that is from a really great source, is sustainable, is organic, is ethical, then you're voting for that to be the primary thing, or for that to be available even more. And then, how do I use this in my life? What does that look like for daily wellness or daily self-care? What does your morning look like? If you're trying to get away from coffee, is there a way for you to incorporate a herbal tea? Are you going to look at green tea? Are you going to look at ginseng? Are you going to look at just not caffeine? What are you going to do if you cut caffeine out entirely? Would you look at peppermint tea? Would you look at lemon balm tea? Are you going to start your day off really thoughtfully about what your nervous system is feeling and how to support it to the best of your ability? What are you going to do in the afternoon when your energy slumps? Are you going to have a really great glass of ionized water? Are you going to have some ginseng? Are you going to have an adaptogen? Are you going to have some peppermint drops? Is there a way for you to boost your energy without diving back into the coffee, right? So see what that feels like for you. Can you infuse it into your day? Is there a way for you to balance your midday meal so it's not really high in carbohydrates so you don't get that crash? What does that look like for you? How does that feel in your body? And then if you're looking at your body holistically, is there a way for me to change my breathing pattern to increase my energy midday instead of using a supplement? Can I go outside into the sunshine for a few minutes so that I get that boost without it needing to come from any food or any beverage? What can I do? How about the evening? How are you going to wind down your day? Cup of chamomile tea, lavender essential oil in the diffuser, putting your legs up higher than your heart, putting on quiet music, turning screens off an hour before you want to go to bed, drinking tart cherry juice half an hour before you go to sleep. What suits you? What does your body need? What right now resonates with you enough that you would be interested in looking to it more? Herbal baths and body care. Get the toxic crap out of your bathroom. You do not need it. It is not good for you, and your skin absorbs it. So that's entirely ungentle, and I don't really care. Treat your body with respect. Treat your body with care and love. Give your skin the treatment you would want to give your internal organs. Why do you think that it's okay to put something really toxic and full of fake fragrances and parfums and full of toxic chemicals onto your skin when you wouldn't eat that? Because you are absorbing it through your skin. Read your labels. Exchange things for natural wherever possible. And if natural seems expensive, you can truly use very inexpensive oils for your body. You just have to know the right one for you. And if you want help choosing that, feel free to message me. I am more than happy to direct you to the right one. If you're taking a herbal bath, you can get tea bags and fill them yourself with herbs. You can just buy herbal tea bags. You can put loose tea into your bath. Please use a strainer when you drain the water or you'll clog your pipes up. Sit in it. I take turmeric baths all the time. Take a rose petal bath. It feels amazing for your skin, and the essential oils that come out of the petals is so relaxing and rejuvenating. It feels so luxurious. Give yourself time. If you can find a eucalyptus branch, put one in your water or hang it where it's steamy. You'll get that essential oil infusion and it'll brighten your day, it'll open your lungs, and it feels beautiful. It's a beautiful ceremony for yourself. You can put peppermint tea leaves into your water and feel the tingle. It's lovely. You can put lemon balm into the water and you can feel the soothing effects for your nervous system. And then if you're thinking long-term wellness, if you're thinking about your overall health, think about adaptogens. Ashwagandha is a really great adaptogenic herb that suits most people. Research before you decide to go all in. But it's a really great way to kind of level out your hormones and support your body, because adaptogens will go the direction your body needs. So if you need a little more of something, the adaptogen will bring you there. If you need a little less of something, your body will bring you there with that adaptogen's help. So if you need help making a long-term wellness plan, feel free to send me a message and we can set up a consultation. Everyone should have access to the plants around them and have information about how to use them. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, I actually right this second, and it's March 9th, 2023 today. Sorry. Totally wrong day. I'm in March because I'm reading this. October 10th. And I'm running a giveaway right now on my Instagram. And you can win a free herbal consult. I'm going to be giving away 2 of them, and you'll be getting a box of turmeric tea, which is my favorite one, just for the chance to look at your holistic well-being. And there's nothing in it for me. I really just want people to have access. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments. I will come back and answer them to the best of my ability. I'll direct you to a resource if I don't actually have the answer, because I am not all-knowing. But I love plants and I love herbalism, and I'm just about done my Master of Herbalism study. And it is so important that more people in the world have access. So if you know someone who would benefit from this video, share it. If you feel like it is a worthwhile video, leave a comment, like, share, save, send to people who need it, because I would love for people to have it. And otherwise, I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their day.